So, I was just terminated.
Hey friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, we'll be talking about why other workers in their 40s, 50s and even 60s are being laid off from the companies they've worked at for decades. It's heartbreaking and it's also scary. So I've put the videos together so that you watch. I'll be back to share my truths.
So, I was just terminated from my job. About 2 days to process everything. I've never been terminated / fired before. This is the first time ever. It came off as a surprise, as a huge shock to me, because due to my recent performance review and my bonus and my salary increase, I wasn't really expecting to be terminated. But what an awful experience it is. What a feeling. Like, you feel so worthless. Like, it just brings you down so much. I don't know. We'll see what the future brings for me. But if you're going through a similar thing, don't worry. Good days are coming for us. And I'm sure the universe has our back and better.
About 6 months ago, I got fired from a job. I was managing a medical office, and even though I know some things are just not a good fix, I'm an office manager. I have been for many years, and I understand when you just have to let someone go because it's just not vibing. But it's taken me a long time to kind of get over it, because it's like really the first time I've ever been fired, and I didn't feel like it was because I had done something wrong. It truly probably was just not a good fit, but it really hurt. Just I don't really want to say my ego, but it was just like making me question my personality. I was like, am I just the most annoying person on the planet? Like, why? Because I felt like I didn't win the popularity contest, and that's ultimately why I was let go. It is what it is.
I got laid off 3 weeks ago now. I took the first few days and cried. I think I was in shock. And then after that, I've just been contemplating life. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm actually really good at what I do. The industry I'm in is really slow right now, but I had a big milestone birthday last week. I'm 50. Turned 50. Yay me. I'm at this crossroads. I feel like I'm at a crossroads in life. Do I take the path I know and hope that I can find something? Or do I travel down some other unknown path in life that's scary and new? 2025 was supposed to be my year. I was going to work on my health, wealth. I had already been thinking, gosh, there's got to be more. There's got to be more. But again, so scary. I'm 50. I need some advice. I need some ideas. If you love what you do, especially at my age, or even younger than me, because I don't feel 50. I don't act 50. Not that 50 is old. I'm just saying, I still have a lot of energy in me. Still a lot of life. And yeah. So I gotta decide something soon, because I need a job. So
update. I lost my job. So on Monday of this week, we had a 15-minute all parties conference call. We weren't on camera. We were all put on mute. We were not given the opportunity to interject, to ask questions, to nothing. And in that 15-minute conference call, we were told that starting that day, we were going to have to reapply for our job and interview if we wanted to keep it. We could also interview for any other position that was available in the company. But yeah, they're going to be restructuring, and pretty much a good amount of us aren't going to have a job. Oh, plus that's all going to be decided and done by Friday. Now, I've been with this company for 16 years. I've been in 2 different positions. I've been the trainer, and I've also been the director of a center that makes a ton of money and has some really amazingly good people working in it, and has been around a very long time. First one in my state, actually, to be established. Managed up to 116 people at one time. Interviewed for 3 different things, just to, keep all the options open. Kind of hoping for one of them. And if I'm not a manager anymore, it's hard to manage people, so maybe this is the change I needed. So I applied for a couple that didn't have any management involved. Didn't get any of them. Now Thursday night, which they said they would make the decisions Friday, Thursday night I got 2 thanks but no thanks from 2 different people. Same exact email. Same. Just sort of took out the name of the job, put in a new name of the job. 16 years and I get a form email. Granted, I understand we have new owners. New owners want new things. I understand. Don't get me wrong about any of the understanding. I just think it's crap. And I think it's crap when it happens to other companies as well. The way that they go about this is crap. And here's why. On Friday, I'm still waiting to hear about one of the jobs. I haven't gotten a yes or a no. And then all of a sudden at 12:41 p.m., I'm locked out of my computer. I still have no yes or no on that other job that I applied for. I don't have any word from HR. I don't have anything. I'm sitting in my office. 12:41. Something's wrong with the network. Oh, you can't authenticate anymore. Call my boss. Am I out? She says, yep, you're out. Okay. So I say, great. Crappy way to handle that. Thanks. Hung up on her. I feel bad about that, but emotions, I had already spent the morning packing because I'd gotten the no thanks of my job the night before. Listen, I made 6 figures. To go from 6 figures to nothing is a shock. I also don't have a college degree. FUCKED.
If you're over 40, you should prepare to be a consultant. I know that since all of the layoffs are now hitting the tech industry, that a lot of white-collar workers are finally starting to understand what I have known for a very long time, and that is that when you get to be over 40, corporate America is done with you. There is a very good chance, the older that you get in your corporate job, that they are going to find a reason to get rid of you. Once you're over 40, especially once you're over 45, and if you're nearing or over 50, you are a short timer. This is not your grandfather's economy. This is certainly not even your parents' economy, where people could get a job and stay in it for 20 or 30 or 40 years and retire and have a pension or whatever. This ain't that. There's a lot of people who are like, why can't we do anything about ageism? We got to get these companies in trouble. That's not going to happen. The number of job postings that are fake, that they're never going to hire somebody over 40 for, you can't prove it. There are select individual cases where people have been able to prove ageism is a reason that they either didn't get a job or that they lost their job. But it's only when a person who works for the company says or does something really fucking stupid, like say, well, you're getting old, so we have to let you go. You cannot combat this. You can't fix it. You can't change it. And it's been like this for a really long time, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. And I can tell you, as someone who has had 3 career layoffs, my second one at age 48 and my last one when I was 54, it's not getting any better. You need to have a plan starting at age 40 for what you're going to do to make money if you lose your job and you're never going to be able to get a good paying full-time job again like the one that you had. People without a plan often end up working places like retail jobs, restaurant jobs, hospitality jobs. These are the jobs that are booming in our economy. Unfortunately, they are low paying. They are extremely difficult. They require you to have completely open availability most of the time. There's not much of a path for promotion, and most of them don't have any benefits. Those people, I worked in those industries for 15 years. Those people are the backbone of the country, and those jobs are really important. And, no diss or ding to anybody that works those jobs. But if you have gotten your butt in a cushy office job for the last 10, 15 years, and you are 40 or over 40, you need to have a plan. What I tell a lot of people who come to me for job search advice and for resume help is, what if you knew right now that you were never, ever going to be able to get another job paying what you were making, doing what you were doing? What if you knew that already? What would you do to make money? Now, I'm not saying don't continue to look for work, and I'm not saying that nobody over 40 is able to find another job. Lots and lots of people are able to go on and find another job, but there are a growing number of people who are not. And I have heard from them by the hundreds. because of the articles that I have written about ageism and poverty and being laid off when you're over 45. Figure out what you're going to do. I suggest freelancing or consulting or upskilling into another profession that you can either start while you're still working, or something that you could activate very quickly with minimal training. For example, some people go into real estate. Some people become a traveling radiologist. Those jobs are in very high demand. But for many of us, myself included, there are physical limitations as to what you can do when you are over 45. And this is why it is just criminal and awful when we see people who are in their 60s and 70s and sometimes in their 80s bagging groceries or working as a greeter or like collecting carts at the grocery store. It's because they really need the money and there's no work available to them. And that area between 40 and 60 or 70, corporate America considers you unemployable if you don't already have a job. If you are over 40, sit down and figure out today what you would do. What else could I do for work if I knew that I was going to lose my job tomorrow and I would never be able to get another job like the one that I had? Maybe put it in a folder and it's part of your emergency plan if and when you get laid off. And especially if you feel like, ooh, things are not good at work. Ooh, I feel like they're going to lay people off. Ooh, I've heard some things. Some people have said some things to me. I got written up for something weird when I've always had great reviews and now they seem to have a problem with my work. These are all warning signs. It's coming. You really have to think, what if they kicked me out and they wouldn't let me back in? You think it can't happen, but it can. What would you do? Figure it out.
So I was just terminated from my job. About 2 days to process everything. I've never been terminated / fired before. This is the first time ever. It came off as a surprise, as a huge shock to me, because due to my recent performance review and my bonus and my salary increase, I wasn't really expecting to be terminated. But what an awful experience it is. What a feeling, like you feel so worthless, like just brings you down so much. I don't know, we'll see what the future brings for me, but if you're going through a similar thing, don't worry, good days are coming for us, and I'm sure the universe has our back and better and greater things are coming.
On Monday night, I received an email meeting invite from my manager's manager titled Business Update. Thought about it all night, couldn't sleep. The meeting was set for the next morning at 8:30 a.m. I checked to see who was included on this call. It was just myself. Tuesday morning, 8:30, prepped myself. And when I saw her face, I immediately knew what was happening. And she told me that due to workforce reductions, my job has been eliminated, effective April 11th. Now, it wasn't a shocker. It didn't sting because I knew, in the position that we stopped recruiting. So I knew things were, kind of going down the pipe, but I expected us to see our last cohort graduate, which would be this coming December. So I expected to not hear anything or to be safe, as you can say, until then. So April 11th, yes, sooner than I thought, but definitely not unexpected. So it didn't sting as much. Yesterday, today, still kind of doesn't feel real, right? I went to clear my desk out Wednesday night. Didn't feel. I think the initial moment I felt right after our call, I did call my mom. And as soon as she picked up, I cried. And she's like, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I got laid off." And she's like, "Wow." Again, reiterated, what we kind of discussed before. We knew it was coming, just didn't know when. Thought we had more time, right? And
That's a video, guys. I'm just here also to share my true sense, like what I think about today's video. Okay, people in their 40s, 50s, and even 60s are being laid off. Now, picture this: you're dedicated your 15, 20, maybe even 30 years to a company. You have showed up, worked hard, sacrificed family time, skipped vacation, trained young employees, and helped the business grow. Then one day you were called into a meeting or were sent an email, and just like that, your time is up. No scandal, no warning, you didn't do anything wrong, you were just let go. It's happening to thousands of workers every month, and most of them are in their 40s in order. The reality is, many companies today are chasing youth. They want to cut costs, and other employees tend to come with high salaries, more benefits, and long term personal responsibilities. So instead of valuing or loyalty, they start trimming what they now call excess experience. It is as if your years of service become a liability rather than an asset. It's almost like a reverse reward system. The longer you stay, the closer you're going to be replaced by someone younger and cheaper. And we need to talk about the emotional toll this takes. For a lot of people in this age group, their identity is tied to their work. Their career is not just a paycheck, it's a pride, their purpose, and their stability. Losing a job at 50 is not the same as losing a job at 25. The opportunities shrink, the competition gets harder, and the ageism creeps in. Imagine being 55 with decades of experience, applying for jobs, and being told you're overqualified or not a culture fit. What that really means is we think you're too old. This is not just a business issue, it's a society problem. We are slowly turning our backs on a generation that built many of the system we benefit from today. A lot of these workers have institutional knowledge, emotional intelligence, patience, and leadership skills you just can't teach overnight. But instead of creating environment where their value can continue to shine, they are being pushed out of the door quietly. Then there's a financial impact. Many of these individuals still have mortgages, kids in college, or aging parents to care for. They are not ready to retire, and frankly, many of them can't afford to. But the job market doesn't favor older applicants. They are told to start over, learn new tech, adjust their resume to hide their ages, or worse, settle for minimum wage jobs that barely cover bills. It's humiliating for people who once learned teams, managed departments, or were once the go-to expert in the field. We also can't ignore the mental side of this. Being laid off unexpectedly can trigger anxiety, depression, and even identity crisis. People who have always been independent suddenly feel like burdens to their families. Some withdraw, some lose confidence, and suddenly some never recover emotionally or professionally. It's more than just a job loss, it's a disruption at time when stability should be increasing, not disappearing. Let's talk about how this is playing out globally. In the USA, UK, and part of Europe, there have been a trend of quiet layoffs. Companies don't say they're targeting other workers, but look at the numbers. The layoff affect those over 45 in some industries like tech and finance. Being too experienced is the case of death. It's like if you're not 28 and fluent in three coding languages, you don't stand a chance. And yet the irony is many of these industries were built by people now being shown the door. This also affects women in a unique way. Women over 50 face not just age discrimination, but gendered ageism. They're perceived as less adaptable, less tech or survey, or too motherly for modern work environments. Meanwhile, society tells them they should be grateful just to have a job, and so they suffer in silence, afraid to speak up for fear of seeming ungrateful or bitter. Let me say this clearly: other workers are not replaceable, they are not disposable, they deserve the same dignity, opportunity, and respect that every employee gets. No one should be disgusted for aging, and it's time for the companies in society to wake up to this. What can we do about it? First, let's stop normalizing layoff as a cost saving strategy. This needs to be accountability. Companies that enjoy loyalty and labor for decades should be allowed to cut people loose without real consequences. Second, we need to push for policies that protect older workers, from resume screening tools that filter out based on graduation dates to workplaces training that assume people over 50 can't learn new skills. We need to also support reskilling programs and create mentorship system where older and younger employees learn from each other. And if you're watching this and you've been laid off, or you're scared you might be, it's not your fault. This is not a reflection of your worth or talent. The system is flawed, not you. You have value, you have wisdom, experience, and so much to offer. Don't let a company poor decision take away your self-respect. Let's also talk about the younger generation watching this. One day you'll be 45, 55, maybe even 65. Do you want to live in this world where your age makes you invisible, or would you rather find now for workplace culture that values people at every stage of life, or becoming all this? Because the truth is, what we tolerate today become our reality tomorrow. Okay, let me be the reminder: companies are not families. Your job is not your identity, and loyalty will be noble. Doesn't always pay off in a way we hope. That doesn't mean you stop being loyal, but it doesn't mean you start protecting yourself too. Keep learning, keep growing, and most of all, keep believing in your worth, regardless of what markets say. Thanks for watching in this video. Okay, so please leave a comment below, share your story, how it has been with you. Bye bye, see you in the next episodes.